Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of the Solo Leveling Review series that we've got going on here. So, we are kicking off, we're going to go through chapters 142 and 143 today. I was actually going to make this video a lot longer, but upon me reading the chapters, I'm like, no, they can kind of just fit as one video on their own. So, that's what we're doing. So, we are now at the International Hunter Conference in the USA. And we start by seeing a hunter from Germany. His name is Lennart Nierman. He is the German representative, and he arrives here with his boy, and he sees a bunch of reporters, and he's like, "Why are there a bunch of reporters here?" And his vice master's like, well, there's a Korean hunter that everyone's been talking about, and he's arriving today." And Lennart's like, "Oh, well, let's go say hi." Right? We have nothing to lose from acquainting ourselves with another strong hunter. So he goes up to speak with Jinwoo, but he freezes because he can see the shadows in Jinwoo's shadow. Right? So he's, again, another one of the few people that we've seen who actually can sense the shadows. The other one, I believe, was Estel's father, who was able to see the shadows in Jinwoo's shadow. Lennart can see them too, which is, very interesting. And Lennart kind of freezes, and now he doesn't go up to Jinwoo because he's kind of intimidated by him. We find out that Jinchul is here. And Jinho's like, "Why are you here, Mr. Wu?" And Jinchul's like, "I've been assigned to protect Hunter-san." And Juno is having a great time making fun of him, like, "Oh, you're here to protect him? Is that what you're here to do?" Oh, like that. That's funny. So we meet up with Adam White again. And Adam White is there to escort Jinwoo somewhere else, right? So Jinchul and Jinho, they go to hotel or whatever, but Adam White needs to speak with Jinwoo on his own. In their limo, Jinwoo asks, "Where are we going?" And he's like, "We're heading to the Hunters Bureau headquarters." And Adam White tells him, "We're under a lot of pressure at the moment. With the death of Christopher Reed, we're desperate to fill the void, because he was one of our strongest." And Jinwoo is like, "You're looking to replace the void with me, though, right?" Because he knows what's going on. They want to curry favor with Jinwoo. So Adam White begins his presentation about the Dragon Kamish's runestone, which is something that was shown in earlier chapters, where they want to try and bring Jinwoo over with the promise that, hey, you can use this runestone. I mean, you're a magic type hunter, right? So this runestone would be good for you. And he starts showing Jinwoo some pictures. But Jinwoo isn't interested in the runestone at all. He wants to see the corpse. And he says, "Has the U.S. been keeping Kamish's corpse intact?" And Adam was like, "Yeah." And Jinwoo was like, "Where is it? I want to go there." And Adam was like, "What?" And Adam White's like, "Well, I don't know the exact location of Kamish's corpse, but I can ask. Would you mind waiting? Here for a minute?" So Adam White then asks, his boss about, Jinwoo wants to see the corpse, and his boss is like, "He wants to see the corpse? Okay, whatever." But he puts it together that why Jinwoo wants to see the corpse. Jinwoo plans to bring Kamish back as a shadow soldier. Now, obviously, they're a bit, I don't know about that. I don't know if we could let that happen. But I mean, they're gonna go with it anyway. They're gonna take him anyway, right? Because he's like, I'll take him there because this is a good chance to see his ability firsthand. So, there, underneath their headquarters, is Kamish's body. So we get a big backstory on Kamish too, which is that it killed hundreds of elite hunters and was only taken down by the 5 remaining national level hunters. The energy used by the Hunters Association headquarters is supplied by Kamish's mana crystal. And Jinwoo steps forward and he tries to summon Kamish, but it doesn't work. So he tries a second time, and Kamish arrives. Kamish arises as a shadow soldier. Jinwoo has done it. Jinwoo now has a big freaking dragon. He already has Kaizel, but now he's got an even bigger one. So Kamish is here. He is now a shadow soldier. So Kamish can speak. He's one of the shadows that can speak, and he asks, Jinwoo, are you the one who summoned me, King of the Dead, Shadow Monarch? And he sees the American hunters behind him, and he goes to kill them because, he's been told, kill humans, I have to kill humans. And he starts cracking through the containment area that he's in. And they're like, that's not possible because that glass, it's been reinforced with a top ranker's mana, but it's not enough. And Kamish breaks through the containment area, and he's about to fire a big blast, and Jinwoo tells him that's enough. He's like, the mana crystal inside you has been removed. There is no need for you to follow the commands of the rulers anymore. And Kamish is like, so this is what it feels like to become a subject of the Shadow Monarch. So it's like he's very well informed of who Jinwoo is and all that type of stuff, right? Anyway, Kamish submits himself to Jinwoo. He said, I previously served the King of Mad Dragons, the Monarch of Destruction, and now I shall serve you. And Jinwoo was like, well, Kamish must have been incredible, right, before he was alive, because he can sense, Kamish has a more sense of self than any of the other shadows he's come across. And there's a funny scene where we see Kamish wiggling his tail, and all the American hunters are like, is he wiggling his tail like a dog? Which is funny. However, this isn't lasting long because Kamish starts to disappear, and he's like, I must bid you farewell. It appears our meeting has come about too late. And Jinwoo's like yelling at the system, do something, what's going on? And Kamish says, my king, there are 4 humans who have borrowed the strength of the rulers. Be wary of them. Though our time together was brief, it was an honor to meet you. And Kamish disappears. And we get notification from the system, which says that the target shadow has returned to the emptiness of the void. Too much time has elapsed since the target's death. Any further attempts at extraction will have no effect. This makes sense to me, that there's a time limit. You can't just go to a corpse that's been dead for 20 years or something and just be like, yeah, arise, you'll come back. It's no, it makes sense that there is a time limit to when you can do it. So Jinwoo apologizes for all the damages. He's like, tell them I'll take care of all this. I'm sorry for this intrusion and all that stuff, and he walks away. As he leaves, there's a big thud because Jinwoo punched the wall angry that he couldn't get Kamish. He returns to the conference, and Jinwoo's like, oh, there you were. I couldn't get a hold of you. And Jinwoo's like, yeah, I was busy. And he's like, oh, so did you meet up with Jinho then? And he's like, what? What do you mean? And Jinwoo's like, well, Jinho left because as soon as you did, because he said you were waiting for him at the Hunters Bureau headquarters. And he's like, what are you talking about? I just came from there. And Adam White comes up and he's like, yeah, Jinho's name is not on our visitor log. He was never there. Right? And Jin Chul's like, a hunter from the Scavenger Guild came to pick him up 2 hours ago. And Adam White's like, okay, let me call and see what's going on. So he calls this woman who is Thomas Andre's assistant. She's the one who's always with Thomas Andre. And she's like, you're telling me, and he's kind of explaining everything that's going on. And she's like, is Hunter Jinwoo aware of this? And he's like, no, he's not, but they've inquired about him, right? And she's like, okay, I'm gonna figure out what's going on as soon as possible. And she's freaking out, right? And as Adam White's telling Jinwoo about, hey, they don't know anything, Jinwoo's gone. So Jinwoo has taken to the skies, and he's like, I should have put a goddamn shadow on Jinho. I got careless. And he starts sending his shadows out, and he's like, find him now. Go out. So he disperses the shadows to go and find Jinho. And we see a room, which it has a bunch of hunters, I assume, just beaten up in the room. And Thomas Andre enters the room, and he ain't happy. He crushes his glasses, and he says, find Hunter Hwang Dong-so before Jinwoo does. And we see Hunter Dong-so has Jinho beaten the crap out of him. And he has a evil smile, and that's where we end the chapter, this episode. Oh boy, baby. He's finally got his modicum of revenge against Jinho, who he believes, to be the one who killed his brother. But of course, now with Jinwoo reawakening, as the public believes, and he's now an S-rank hunter, he'll probably, assume that Jinwoo is the one who did it, and he's probably just taken Jinho for insurance purposes to make sure Jinwoo shows up. But who knows? I could be lying. I could be telling you false lies to deceive you. You'll have to find out next time. So thank you all so much for listening and watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time.